All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the United States Army, I want to welcome you to this year's Mercer University commissioning ceremony. Please rise for the entrance of the official party, this year's commissionee, and the playing of the national anthem. Following the national anthem, please remain standing for the invocation.
Please join me in prayer. Dear Lord, thank you for the beautiful day you have bestowed upon us. Lord, I ask that you watch over and guide each individual as he begins down his chosen path. And Lord, I ask that you provide us with hope when we are discouraged, that you give us trust where there is doubt, and that you grant us strength in the face of weakness. May you walk beside us during the pitfalls of life and carry us when burden seems unbearable. Lord, thank you for the families who have supported each one of us and given us strength to pursue our dreams. Lord, it is now that I ask that you guide each one of us as we travel to our future ahead. Watch over us and protect our families and give them strength in their daily lives. It is this that I ask in your most precious and holy name. Amen. Please be seated.
Now, at this time, I would like to introduce the members of the official party. Mr. William David Underwood, President, Mercer University. Lieutenant Colonel John W. Howland, Jr., Professor of Military Science, Georgia Military College, Georgia College and State University, Mercer University, and our guest speaker today. Major Frederick A. Eaton, OIC, Mercer University. And Master Sergeant James P. Daly, NCOIC, Mercer University. We would also like to recognize our distinguished visitors. Dr. Richard Fallis, a professor of English and Dean of the College of Liberal Arts. Also Dr. Aldridge, Dean of the School of Engineering. Today we will commission an outstanding individual as Second Lieutenant in the United States Army. This day represents both a beginning and an end. The end of several years of academic studies, spiritual development, and personal growth. It also marks the beginning of service to the nation and to the soldiers whose care they will soon be entrusted. And this new lieutenant joins the ranks of the United States Army and follows the path of those Mercerians who have served our nation's military since the university's inception. We're pleased to have with us today Mr. William David Underwood, President, Mercer University. William Underwood was selected to serve as the 18th president of Mercer University beginning July 1st, 2006. Prior to joining Mercer, President Underwood served at Baylor University as interim president and held the prestigious Leon Jaworski Chair at the Baylor School of Law, having joined the law faculty in 1990 after practicing law with a large firm in Dallas. President Underwood also took a leave of absence from the law school from 1997 to 98 to serve as Baylor's general counsel. President Underwood is an accomplished educator and scholar. He was designated as master teacher at Baylor in recognition of extraordinary classroom teaching and was named an outstanding university professor in 2005. He is an elected member of the American Law Institute and the American Bar Foundation. He has published extensively on a range of topics and has presented a number of papers on how faith relates to higher education, especially at universities that share the historical and theological commitment of Baptists to intellectual and religious freedom and respect for religious diversity. President Underwood is a summa cum laude graduate of the University of Illinois College of Law, which awarded him the Juris Doctorate degree. He graduated as class salutatorian and was editor of the Illinois Law Review. Following graduation, he clerked for the Honorable Sam D. Johnson of the United States Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit. He also holds a degree from Oklahoma Baptist University, where he met his spouse, Leslie. They have two teenage daughters, Jessica and William. Two teenage children, Jessica and William, sorry. All right, Mr. Underwood.
On behalf of the trustees, the faculty, the staff, and the students of Mercer University, it's a real privilege for me to welcome you to the 2008 ROTC commissioning ceremony here at Mercer University. The young men who are being recognized today are among our most gifted and talented students. We are proud of them. We are proud of them because of their commitment to academic and spiritual and physical growth during their time with us. We are proud of them because of their commitment to service, to our nation, and their commitment to preserving the freedoms that make this such a special place to live. We're very proud of them. We're very proud of the leadership of the ROTC program here at Mercer University. We have outstanding leadership for that program, and we're grateful. We're grateful to that leadership. Most of all, we're proud of the fact that so many of you are here today for this ceremony. We know that these young men who are being recognized could not achieve what they are achieving without the support of family and friends, and it means a great deal to them and to us that you are here with us today. So welcome.
Thank you, President Underwood, for your words as well as your presence here today. Now it is my privilege to introduce today's guest speaker. Lieutenant Colonel Jay Hallam received his commission from Lock Haven University in Pennsylvania and was branched into field artillery. Lieutenant Colonel Hallam has had multiple assignments, which include assignments with the 8th Battalion, 8th Field Artillery Regiment of the 2nd Infantry Division Artillery, Republic of South Korea. In 1991, he deployed to Saudi Arabia in support of Operations Desert Shield and Desert Storm. And upon redeployment in the summer of 1991, he joined the 1st Battalion, 41st Field Artillery Regiment of the 24th Infantry Division Artillery at Fort Stewart, Georgia. In the spring of 1993, he attended the Field Artillery Advanced Course at Fort Sill, Oklahoma, and then in the fall of 1993 was selected for attendance at the Infantry Officers Advanced Course at Fort Benning, Georgia. In 1994, Lieutenant Colonel Hallam joined the 6th Battalion, 29th Field Artillery Regiment of the 1st Armored Division Artillery in the Federal Republic of Germany. In October of 1994, he assumed command of Charlie Battery, 333rd Field Artillery. In December of 1995, he deployed his battery to Bosnia and Herzegovina, where his unit was part of the implementation force during Operation Joint Endeavor. In 1997, Lieutenant Colonel Hallam served as the Assistant Professor of Military Science at Indiana University of Pennsylvania. During 2000, Lieutenant Colonel Hallam returned to Fort Stewart, Georgia, and was assigned with the 3rd Infantry Division. He deployed to Bosnia and Herzegovina with the division. In 2002, he became the operations officer of the 1st Battalion, 41st Field Artillery Regiment. In January of 2003, his unit deployed to Kuwait and was part of the 3rd Infantry Division's combat operations during the initial phase of Operation Iraqi Freedom. He redeployed from Baghdad in June of 2003 and was stationed at Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, where he attended the Army's Command and General Staff College. After graduating CGSC, Lieutenant Colonel Hallam was selected as an aide-de-camp to the Commanding General of the United States Army Combined Arms Center at Fort Leavenworth. He completed his tour of duty at Fort Leavenworth as Chief of Operations for the U.S. Army Modular Force Directorate. During the summer of 2006, Lieutenant Colonel Hallam assumed command of Georgia Military College, which is one of the largest officer commissioning programs in the country. Lieutenant Colonel Hallam is married to the former Miss Paula Howie and has 2 wonderful daughters, Rachel and Sarah. Sir.
I wish my parents could be here to hear that because they wouldn't know who they were talking about. You know, really what that means is I get to spend about 18 years doing what I love to do. And today, we get to bring one person in to do that, and in a couple months, we'll bring 2 more, so that's great. Dr. Underwood, sir, thank you so much for coming. It means a lot when we have an ROTC department that gets the kind of support from the college that you provide, and without that, we can do our job, but we can't do it to our fullest potential. So, sir, I appreciate all your support, everything you provide to Major Eaton and the cadets here, because without that, we can only go so far. So, sir, thank you very much. For the academic deans that are here, gentlemen, thank you for attending. You know, without your personal attention to the cadets day to day in classes and keeping them on task when we don't get to see them, you know, if they don't graduate, they can't be second lieutenants. So, gentlemen, thank you for everything you do. I'd first like to say thanks to the parents, Mr. and Mrs. McCoy. You know, without you, I mean, we know that he wouldn't be here. Without the guidance and what you provided for the first, well, up to now, probably the first 20 years, 21 years of his life, he wouldn't be here. So for that, my personal thanks, and I have something for you. I forgot to bring it. One of the traditions we have in the Army is we all have Army coins. Now, this is the Georgia Military College coin, which is where my host is. So I just wanted to say thank you for everything you have done. And thank you, sir. And ma'am, also just want to say, you know, you got a commissioning today, graduation tomorrow, so pretty good Mother's Day weekend. So happy Mother's Day. Okay. You know, the Army has, we produce leaders, and we have something that we have a set of duty, honor, we have values that we live. There's 2 that I want to talk about. One is duty. You know, after the attacks of 9/11, a lot of people felt a sense of duty, wanted to do something. You know, these gentlemen joined when they could after the war started. You know, after we've started combat operations in another country, as a matter of fact, in 2 other countries. That's a big step. That's a sense of duty. When you know that you're joining an organization that's already conducting combat operations. That's a significant step. So that, in and of itself, is good. What's more important to me with that, and this is no slight for the Vietnam veterans or the Korean veterans who are wonderful people, but we are fighting the first war with an all-volunteer force since 1812. The War of 1812 was the last time this country fought. And you're a history major, so I know you know that. But 1812 was the last time our country fought a war with an all-volunteer force. And that means a lot. That means a lot to me because we have young men and women standing up saying, I'm going to do this. Now, another of our values is selfless service. You know, there's service to our country, but what officers have to do is they have selfless service. All right? They're going to lead soldiers. And you lead from the front. All right? And when you lead from the front, sometimes you don't get all the comfort you think you're going to get. You know, when we're out in the field, who eats first? The soldiers, not the lieutenants, not the captains, but but the soldiers eat first. When we're deployed, who gets to go first on leave? Not the lieutenants, not the captains, but the soldiers get the first chance to go home and visit their families. Who works latest at night? The lieutenants and the captains and the majors. All right, selfless service. We talk about service to the nation, but their service in a couple days is going to be to their soldiers, because they're going to be given the most precious asset that this country has, our sons and daughters. And it's their job to protect those sons and daughters. And that is a daunting task. But, gentlemen, I'll tell you, you've been given the skills to do that. You've been given the skills by your families. You've been given the skills by Major Eaton and Master Sergeant Daly. You've been given the skills by your peers in the training that you do. You know, you've been to LDAC, Leadership Development Assessment Course, out of Fort Lewis. Got to see a part of our country not many people get to go visit. Now, yours was a very narrow view of that. I understand you didn't get a whole lot of free time. But if you ever get a chance to get back out there this summer while you're working on Cadre, you'll get to see a completely different part of Washington that you didn't know exists. You'll actually maybe even get to go see Mount Rainier up close as opposed to 150 miles away. It's about as big when you get there, too. In closing, what I'd like to wrap this up with is, we all do this, but we all do it for a reason. And everybody out here does what we do for a reason, whether it is the compelling to serve or if it is something else internal. And there are many people out there that are serving our country and not wearing a uniform, and they are just as important. There are families that support their children to make a choice to join the military, or we have firefighters, we have policemen, we have policewomen, we have public servants, we have educators. So think about that. There are so many people serving our country right now that are not wearing a uniform, and we need to thank them just as much as we thank everybody else. But I like to think, just because I'm a little prejudiced to the uniform, whenever you get a chance, please thank every service member you can. Because every time someone says thank you to me, it touches me, because they went out of their way to do so. So, gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you, sir, for those insightful words and your distinguished service to our nation. Mission of the Mercer Military Science Department is to commission men and women into our officer corps and to ensure that these men and women are endued with a belief and understanding of the Army values. Every cadet in our program, both those who are here today and those who are not, have done well. We are privileged, however, to recognize those cadets who have excelled in particular areas. In ROTC, we primarily concentrate in 3 areas: training our cadets to succeed as scholars, athletes, and leaders. Today, we are presenting awards to the cadets who have excelled in each of these areas. These cadets will receive a miniature of the permanent plaque, which is maintained in the Military Science Department as a memento in recognition of their achievements. In your brochure, you will find a list of these awards and the recipients. Please take a moment to review those awards and join me in honoring the recipients with a round of applause. Major Frederick A. Eaton will present our awards. Our Scholar Award is named the Main Brain and is awarded for academic excellence and the cadet who obtains the highest annual grade point average. The recipient of this award with a GPA of 3.9 is Cadet PB2 Alex Weberg.
Just a little word on Cadet Weber. He's unable to receive his award this morning. This cadet came into our program. He was a little bit of a delay. He transferred up from Georgia Southern, 6'3", real smart individual. However, he had a small problem with his height-weight requirement. He came in at 250 pounds. He's currently 190 pounds. He looks like a totally different individual. He's a wonder to have, pleasure to have in our unit. And this guy, in about 2 years, will also be hopefully commissioning another, great individual here at Mercer University with the will and dedication to make it happen. So on behalf of Cadet Weber, we'll make sure we get this to him. But quick round of applause for him. Do appreciate it.
The Iron Cadet Award is presented for physical fitness excellence to the cadet who obtains the highest average on the Army Physical Fitness Test. The recipient of this award with an APFT average of 292 is Cadet First Sergeant Robert Crowder.
Congratulations, say a quick word on Cadet Crowder here. He transferred into college here into Mercer University. He's been doing a stellar job for us also. I've known him for a couple of years. But Cadet Crowder, on this Army physical fitness test, we take the exam once a month down on the river. So it could be 95-degree weather. We've taken the PT test down there when it was 27 degrees. The max score is a 300, and his average was a 292. So that is clearly the best score for anyone in our unit. And he just constantly amazes. So again, Crowder, thank you.
The Abrams Award is presented for leadership excellence to the cadet who has been elected by their fellow cadets as the best leader in the battalion. The recipient of this award is Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Thomas P. Rua.
Cadet Rule, I can't say enough about this award for him, but anytime you're selected by your peers for an award of this caliber, I mean, truly says something. Myself and Sergeant Daly, he performed flawlessly throughout the year. And again, like I said, this is a combined vote from the other 30 cadets within the program, nominating him as the #1 cadet, validating our selection at the beginning of the year to have him lead our battalion, through a great, academic school year. So again, thanks again. Appreciate it.
Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Thomas Rua was selected by his peers as best representing the values that every Army officer strives to epitomize, and as such will now explain the oath of office and the significance it has for each one of our new officers.
As part of the commissioning ceremony, each of us will take the oath of office. The oath is an important part of Army culture and tradition for many reasons. It serves as a basis for the code of conduct for the Army officer. As an Army officer, we will be entrusted with our country's most precious commodity, the lives and welfare of our nation's soldiers. A soldier must be able to depend upon our given word. The actions and integrity of our leaders can leave impressions or convey meaning which will have a far-reaching impact on a unit's mission, success, or failure. The oath also represents a common bond shared by all soldiers, officer and enlisted. A bond that manifests itself in the words to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. It incorporates the values, loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. It also represents a commitment to our nation's past and to those soldiers throughout our history who have sacrificed in this nation's service. Finally, it represents faith. Faith in our country, its people, and our way of life. It is a faith best expressed in a statement made by Abraham Lincoln in his Cooper Union Address on February 27, 1860. Let us have faith that right makes might, and in that faith, let us to the end. Dare to do our duty as we understand it. As Army officers, our given word must be unimpeachable, and the oath must be the most sacred promise of all. Thank you.
We have now reached that part of the ceremony for this cadet and his family that have so anxiously awaited. As we prepare to commission this new lieutenant, we want to ensure that all family and friends share in this momentous occasion. Cadet McCoy will first be administered the oath of office, then his first set of gold second lieutenant bars will be pinned on by his family and friends. After that, Cadet McCoy will receive an autographed copy of the officer's guide, a first salute silver dollar, his Bear Battalion coin, and his commissioning certificate from Lieutenant Colonel John W. Hallam, Jr. Those who wish to take pictures are encouraged to do so throughout the whole ceremony. Our commissionee is Cadet Major Joshua McCoy. Major Eaton will administer the oath of office to Cadet McCoy.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your full name.
I, Joshua Robert McCoy,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will and faithfully discharge
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
upon which I'm about to enter.
upon which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.